Wow.
Hey, Macarena. All right,
I'm
we are
saving mine for
back.
later.
Where'd that comment go? Somebody had a good comment. I hope this isn't the Macarena show. There we go. No,
There we go.
Brandon, it will not be the Macarena show.
Yes,
we're probably going to
taken that to heart.
we'll probably fawn over the first set a lot, though. I will tell you that.
Yes,
how we doing,
real
guys?
quick, Kev, let's welcome Amanda to the show tonight, everybody.
Hello.
So, welcome, Amanda.
Great to be back. It's been a little while, but super excited to talk about tonight's show. Got a lot of random stuff for you.
Wonderful to have you here, and everybody in the chat, behave yourself tonight. There's a lady in the house.
That's right. I'm from Jersey. We got this.
There you go. Okay, we got it. You're used to the rowdy crowd.
If you don't know Amanda, she is my partner over on All That Jam, the other thing that I do. So she has been one before. She actually was part of the most watched after show we ever did back for New Year's in 23. We got over 10,000 views on that one.
That was a really special one. I had so much fun that night.
And it was mostly because you were here with Kev to do it, I think. I don't think we ever pulled those numbers, so that's awesome. Welcome back.
And
all right,
let's talk about.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this. I tell you what, I was very, very stoked with this set. I thought it was just fantastic. All great choices. You know, I'm not going to poop on Evolve, but the dogs, been a while, showed up. I mean, it shows up every tour or two, but I love that. It's so fun. All those songs were so great. Such an interesting concept, that Halloween, and I'm glad that some of them have stuck around.
I am too, you know, and I've seen different posts and opinions over the years of, you know, using those sounds, you know, in a Phish song, this or that. I think we've gotten to a point where, you know, we're a little more used to that now. I think as an opener, it's an interesting choice because it immediately gets your attention in such a different way than most other songs would. So it kind of drew me in. I'm like, okay, that's cool. This is a little bit different. And I was happy to kind of get into that Evolve. And then I started thinking, what are the dogs evolving to? But we didn't really go too far with that. You know, my brain could put that aside for a minute there.
I love it as an open. I love all those songs when they open because especially with the sample, it's just such a fun drop. Like when you get your trip is short, or like it tells the story of like the cat or the dog or like blasting off. It's so much fun. You're like, oh man, I'm in. And then the song drops and you're like, all right, let's go. And they all have kind of that funk jam in them too, which kind of just gets you going in the one spot. And it's such a unique, like we always talk about the great openers, and these are like more like the unique openers, right? They kind of just kind of set a different tone, but are like a lot of fun and leave you kind of guessing what the hell is going to be next and what's going to take part in the set. And Kev, don't talk shit about Evolve, man. Come on. I didn't. A fun song. I said it earlier. It set up the rest of this set. Like this is where they got in their zone. They were like happy Phish because that song rules and it's so much fun and reminds me of the old days. And they have fun playing it, and I love it. And it set up Fluffhead brilliantly in the 2 slot. Like I thought it was perfect.
I thought it did too because it's so 4.0, right? It's so now, but it also is so complex. So to go into a Fluff, I feel like is an awesome entry point there. And so I did a little statusizing during the show because I wanted to get my perception versus reality for Fluffhead. You know, Folsom, first set closer. Where should this song be? Right? Like what's actually happening? And so it's been a set closer almost 50 times, and half of those in a set 1. There's a lot of parody, you know, but for some reason I associate Fluff in a very specific point in a set. And obviously I should not be doing that anymore. I've learned the errors of my ways.
It should close a set. For me, I think it's a solid way to close a set.
I think it's a fun opener at times because it sets that tone again that gives you like, oh man, we got a Fluff to open, let's go. But I totally agree with you guys because just like Antelope, and tonight getting that Antelope later is like the best closer as we all know. But a Fluff in there, I don't know, it's always kind of fun in the middle, like in a 3 slot with 15 minutes, and to get that white light moment and those like feels that early in the show.
You're in the pavilion. If you were in the pavilion, you got that white light moment. If you were on the lawn at the man, you didn't.
You saw the white lights. Otherwise, you saw the white lights reflecting off of the crowd in a different position.
And that kind of dark, creepy bundle of joy, the voiceover there, the kind of narration of it, I was like, oh yeah, all right,
Yeah,
I like it.
totally. Yeah, and then when I mean, it's like how we always talk about Melt and Bowie, the coming back into it. Fluffhead just has that moment. Like when it comes back in, it's just that moment, and the lights hit, and then Trey does my favorite thing when he does the fluffy headline. It just kills me, and like it's just 15 minutes. That was a great fluff, right?
Yeah.
Fucked up the beginning of it a little bit, but again, we're willing to look over all those kind of things because you're not ever going to get perfect Phish a lot.
So is Gumbo back?
It's getting there.
Good chance.
It's getting there.
It's looking good. I think for me, set one, and I know we talked a little bit about this already, offline, but that loose funk groove, that Gumbo, Julius, I mean, we saw it kind of just woven into the first set. I was so glad that Gumbo kind of kicked that off. I'm always chasing Summer 97 Star Lake. We talked a little bit about that, but this one I thought had some, was there meat in the Gumbo?
Yeah.
There was meat to the Gumbo. Yeah. I think it was great.
Well, I'm not back, Dave, meaning that it's not in rotation. Back meaning that they were 6-7 minutes for the past few years, and the last one we got was even longer than this one. It's like they rediscovered there was a jam in it.
Yeah, exactly, because it was 4 to 5 minutes for a little while there. I mean, it got kind of compacted.
Very, and that's what Kevin and I talked about last time when it was showing up. We're like, why even do it right here? You're giving me a 5-minute Gumbo, like that's not even what it's about. And so to see it sort of get those legs now and expand out a little bit is great. And we were talking about this at the intermission, that maybe this is setting up getting a 15, 20, 25-minute Gumbo at some point in this tour, maybe, or in September.
A second set Gumbo?
Yes, exactly, Kev. Exactly.
What do we say? First time in 25 years they'll be doing that. I remembered that stat.
Right.
But it'd be so cool to see that. And I think the Austin Gumbo, which I think was also set one, had some great moments. I like tonight's. I want to go back and listen to both of them, actually.
And when you do listen to, because again, this was, I texted this to Kev and was like, it's another moment of Trey and Paige just locking in with each other when they got into that jam and just went. And I texted Kevin, was like, do you think that moving Fishman again has opened up Paige with Trey's energy, like gets more of Trey now and like feels him more and like hears him better without Fishman kind of being there and being closer to him? Because I feel like that space is really, and granted, Trey and Paige are always next to each other, but the space now that's been created with Fishman leaving, they are so much more locked in. It is crazy. And seeing Trey like look over at him more and the two of them just go off each other in some of these jams, it's awesome. So yeah. I'm just wondering if that Kev's like, yeah, I think it totally did having Fishman move over there. It's definitely helped them in that way. And it's been awesome.
Trey is insulated by Mike and Paige, and he's just having moments with both of them. Like during Yam, he was like looking over at Mike, like, I love you, Mike.
And he actually, and I mean, that guy's having the time of his life on this tour, but he definitely has moments with everybody. And Mike mentioned that too in an article, that like being open now like this, he can see them better and is having more fun, like hearing everything more and stuff. So it's really worked.
Yeah. Can we touch really quickly on just because this did send me down a rabbit hole for a little while during set 2. So there was a mention of a Manteca tease initially in Gumbo. I had said I didn't hear it, but I do miss things for sure. So that got removed. But then I went and looked, and there have been a bunch of Manteca teases in recent shows. And I just find that interesting. The song's been teased more than it's been played, which is kind of a funny thing.
It was about 7 minutes in, Amanda, is what I had written down, is when they were, I put Manteca adjacent stuff going on.
Very nice. So I don't know who made the call to remove it, but that's interesting. I don't often see that happen. So I don't know where anyone else was at with that, but I mean, we got the other MTs, which, we can discuss when we get there.
When we get there.
Mind Left Body Jam, right? And Who said that? And what's the other? Dave's Energy Guide. Everyone's like,
Yes.
Dave's
Yes,
Energy
Dave's,
Guide.
yeah. Well, that and San Jose is in every song too, I think. So
Right, yes. Yeah. So, all right, Pebbles and Marbles. We did switch guitars. He just tuned, which I found interesting. In 19, and when he broke it out at Camden, and since then, I feel like every time he switched guitars, he had one tuned E or whatever it is. But this time he just real quick, and I like that song.
It's a good song, you know, and I think for me, if anything, that could have been a place in the set where it could have dipped a little bit for me personally, but it did not. And I think the fact that you had Gumbo, Pebbles, etc., all around that 10-minute mark, to me, it's long enough to get somewhere. But it seemed like the transitions and just the movement from one to another, it felt right. And I liked the placement of it for where it was in the set.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I thought the play, as soon as they started playing it, I was like, it was nice to get the 11-minute Gumbo. I was looking forward to go another 4 minutes, 5 minutes and get that 15 out of it. So when it kind of came out of it, I was like, oh man, we're cutting it short. But then going into Pebbles and Marbles, I was like, okay, this will work because we're going to get something out of this again. And hopefully it'll push us to 10, 15 minutes again. So, and I always like that song. It's got such a great opening lyric. It just hooks you and it just like grabs you right in. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. And then it's got the catchy riff and everything. So it's a good song in that spot too. And to your point, Amanda, drink that Fluffhead, Gumbo, and Pebbles and Marbles was a great 3-song run there of those. The timing was worked out perfectly. You can't really complain like we want a longer Gumbo, but it really fit well at 11 minutes there. So all 3 of these in that zone really worked out well.
Yeah, nothing felt cheap.
All right, my 3 were the Gumbo, Pebbles, and Marbles, and the Roggae. I think were like the strongest part of the set there. That Roggae was sublime. Just it's such a quiet, unassuming thing that just builds and slowly builds and builds. And
has that same kind of riff to it, right? Kind of like just that recognizable that you just kind of get in that zone. And, you know, we always complain about the bathroom songs or like where we're going to take a break or like whatever. And this is one of those songs where it's that slow song, but I never leave during it. Like I like it. Like I want to stay and enjoy it and listen to it. And then you end up not going to the bathroom because then you get the bluegrass song that you can't, that you still are moving in, right? So it's like
Ginseng, yes.
So fun. I mean, it's amazing. 3 minutes. It does what it needs to do always so perfectly. Talk about something that hasn't been played a lot, you know, a couple times in the last 5 or 6 years, maybe. I did want to call out, I think it was Dave made a great comment that he's looking at set 1 as maybe a little bit of a foretelling of some songs that are going to be back in rotation. And I think that's a really cool point. And I'll be curious to see for some of these.
Well, it's
Guelah back again.
Like Kevin and I talk about though with Ginseng and some of the other songs where at 3 minutes, if you hate it, it's over quick enough where you're not like stuck. Oh, this sucks. I'm stuck in this. And if you love it, it's 3 minutes of fury that you're just like, woohoo, all right, let's go. So it kind of, it fills a really good void. I miss them doing the bluegrass songs in the first set because it always had that. And it's so much better than usually like Mike doing a Mull or 555 and what, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, what, but the old bluegrass songs were like his wheelhouse. And it was just,
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's a novelty, right? Even if it's not your thing at all,
right?
It's going to keep the pace and it's going to keep it fun.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it did.
Yep.
I tell you what, I like that Guelah has showed up twice this tour. I think having Mike next to Trey helps with that because, you know, there's the floor show that comes with that and they're next to each other. So I love that. So that's another one. Such a fun lyric. And
if you notice, Kev, look how much dancing they've done. They did the Turtle in the Clouds the other night. They're doing all the old like dance routines, but they're back together kind of in the close this tour. So I think that has something to do with it too.
Yeah. I wrote down Annunciation Anastasio. I gave him a new name because he was just hammering out those syllables so well. I was so proud. I was like, I don't remember that from back in the day. Something's different. What could it be? But like he really, that vocal stylings on that song, that can be easy, you know, amongst many other songs as well, but he crushed it. And it's interesting. You see this huge gap that song has had from like 22 to 24, now twice this tour, had a little moment in like 2010, 11. So I'm hoping that, this is a little bit of a resurgence for it.
I agree. I agree. And yes, Justin, sloppy dancing, but they've always been kind of sloppy dancers. Like that's kind of their shtick. And two, they're like 60-year-old men now, so they're not really going to have the moves and the coordination like they used to. Just look at the trampoline a couple of shows ago when they brought it out. And
we need to talk about the trampolines. We need to sit Trey down and explain to him at this point, you're going to bust a hip, dude, and you're not going to be.
Tonight it was Mike. Mike was the one that leaned forward a little bit when they flipped around.
Get nervous.
Back, he kind of, and you're like, oh shit, like grab your balance,
the cords. They're like plugged in when they do it. You know,
he's the one that has to play. Trey's just standing there with his guitar most of the time. Mike's actually have to play and jump, and you're like, damn, yeah. I don't know.
Well, hopefully they have spotters or something.
Right. Everyone's out there like standing by him.
That would be awesome, actually. Only Phish could make that hilarious and wonderful if they ever decided to do it.
Right. Have the stagehands dressed in something and run out and like hold them and like dance out. Yeah, totally.
I would dig that.
Julius is fun. Apparently it's Orange Julius.
Yeah, Phish Fashion. Shout out. They called it. Well, actually, they said partial call for Orange Julius, which I thought was amazing. And so I got to give them some credit for that. I thought that was fantastic.
That was, and they posted something yesterday too. The why hasn't Tweezer ever been an Encore or whatever T-shirt that Trey grabbed and held up, and Sleeping Llama was part of that. And yeah, I saw Phish Fashion posting all that stuff too. So yeah, they've been on a run these last few shows in Philly with all that stuff. So that's funny. Orange Whip.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Just saw that. I was gonna type in real fast.
Nice,
Orange Whip. All right, Split Open and Melt. I mean, solid. I love the jam in it. They always, find something dark. They break it down. I call it like free jazz. It reminds me of like Demented Dixieland or something like that. And they nailed the re-entry. It wasn't as forceful as normal. They kind of eased into it, but they hit the re-entry. So how else do you want to close a set besides Antelope? I mean,
exactly. And wrong SOAM. I would have rather had Son of a Mule as the SOAM tonight instead of that one, but I'll take it. I'll take Mel. Here's the only thing, we talked about this before at Intermission, and Llama brought up a good point, because I was like, putting it at the end, a lot of times you're to time, right? And you're like, okay, we're not going to be able to go far because we know we have to get out of this set. And so we can't get where we would if this was in the middle of the second set or even towards the end of the second set. So this one worked at 13 minutes. And what Llama pointed out was what he said the other night is, but it gives them that small of a space, confined space to work in. So they know they have to do it. So where can they explore in those 13 minutes? And I think this is a really good example of doing that. And I love that he always brings it up when I complain about that, because it's such a good point and such a good counterpoint. And it's making me realize that maybe inside those minutes, they're like, okay, we have 10, 13 minutes. Let's get this in there, but get where we will still want to get to. We just have to do it faster, which is kind of like how he starts Piper so fast now and just gets into the jam instead of like letting it build. So it just feels like sometimes they're like, what can we fit into this zone? And I think this was that song that kind of fit into that.
I love that. And it while you were saying that, it actually made me think about, the creativity that you could find within a framework. And so clearly, they're masters at being able, in certain situations to, look at what's available to them. And I think they made the most of it. I have to say, and this was kind of the first time during the show I really noticed it for me. Paige Gets My Rose Tonight. I don't even watch that show that's based on, but I'm just going to say anyway.
That.
He had these little synth moments happening. And I wrote down some of that for Split, but throughout the show, I really think he was there just backing into some really great kind of foundational stuff with that. And I thought that was really apparent there.
Yes, there were a few times in some of the synth moves that he did tonight that were spectacular and didn't go full blown into them and like some of the synthy breakdowns and stuff. And there was one in the second set where towards the end of the song he did this really cool thing, and then they kind of used that as the outro of the song, and I thought it was going to be sort of a base of where they were going to go, but it was a really cool like little thing he laid down. I have to go back and listen to it.
Simple had a cool
yeah.
That I was like, damn, like, is it just me, or is he like really leaning into this right now? It was good. It was really
good. Yeah.
If it's your first time watching, make sure that you subscribe. Everybody hit that like button for us. Think about becoming a member. We do halftime hangs. I do a Monday morning show where we just hang out in a little bit, try to get everybody's head in the right space for the week of work. We have something on Friday coming out with Dave Alvin. He has a band called The Third Mind with Mark Coran and some other people. Some psychedelic stuff. Make sure you check that out. And we'll be back for all the recaps. Let's dive into set 2. It has been since 1988, 723, almost exactly 37 years ago that they opened a second set with a curtain width. So bravo to them.
Seriously. And having seen it a little bit, it's kind of like a Guelah in a way that you just have these just extended amounts of time without seeing it. And I like it a lot. I was trying to listen to see if it was really matching with what we would expect those sections to be in a curtain width. Mm-hmm. I had seen some markings of a set list somewhere online that had some other stuff thrown in there. I don't know. Did you all hear any other songs or any teases in there?
There was one before they went into the width, coming like when they were kind of doing the end of the curtain that sounded like something. Because then I was wondering if they were going to do width because of the way it sounded, what they were doing. But then they dropped into it, and I was like, then I really didn't notice anything.
It was Anne Flew Away from Lonely Trip. I saw that noted, not on Fishnet, so it wasn't anything official, but I wasn't placing that, but I was really happy to hear it. And that's another one. It came out, it was only 5 or 6 minutes long, but I feel like for that one, that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. They get it all in there. I'm not sure. I don't know for that one if I want it 30 minutes, Yeah.
I mean,
it needs to be, I guess I should say.
Especially like changing it up is almost enough to get that, because getting it to open the second set is such a obviously unique thing now, right? Like I haven't done it in forever. So just getting that, I think whatever they're going to give you out of it is worth it in that spot. And I love that, kind of like what we talked about Dead & Co, Kev. I kind of like the way they're changing up some of this stuff. Like they did that AC/DC bag at the Hollywood Bowl to open the second set in the spring. So it's fun having some of these first set standards that open or in the first set open the second set or be mixed into the second set, like Antelope now too, kind of finding a way back into the second set in places. So it's cool.
It was fantastic. Wave of Hope is really a consistent jam vehicle. For me, one of the least offensive of the Tole rock lyrics. I like this about 8 minutes into this. Paige, like you were saying about the synths, but this was the piano, did this little breakdown, and boom, they all rolled with it. They were like, all right, Paige, lead the way, my man.
They did. And there was a point where they kind of brought it back, kind of simplified things. And it sounded like I thought of y'all that it could have gone into a 2001 for like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, and I got the chills. I'm like, this could be happening. And it didn't. And that's totally cool. But I like what they did there, and I was happy with that one. So that's an interesting song because it's been played maybe 30-ish times, and almost half of those have an entry in the jam chart. So it really is such a strong jam vehicle, which we know, but they've done that jam in so many different ways too, which is super cool.
It's a ripper. I mean, that song always like it when it's kind of Walls of the Cave-ish, No Man's, when it finds its like launch off, it goes. And at 23 minutes, that's like when you cut it off before that, you're like, oh well, we got like a 15-minute Wave of Hope tonight. And I think 23, like this is where it lives. Like this is when it's like that song that really gets into that jam. And then we get into this problem spot, and I don't want to go full drift while you're sleeping here, but oh my God. Like,
well, you know what? It was very intentional, and Trey was focused, and
I know, and people love it, and I don't want to shit on you if you love this song, but it killed me. It like pulled me out of that set so hard, and out of the show, really, and it took so long to get back into it. Like, oh, it's just, oh man, it was a killer. I don't know. I know I'm sorry, but it really, I was not pleased with that.
As a kid, when someone said Mercy, you stopped.
Oh,
Yes, I was texting.
Context matters.
Have mercy, Trey. Like, just stop playing this song. Like, mercy.
That's unfortunate, actually. Now that I think about it.
And at 6 minutes, I mean, we could. Oh, it does. I don't know. That's too long. I'm sorry. 4 minutes. Sorry.
It's not. I don't know. It's not that offensive to me.
I know. Defend it. No, defend it because it's like Evolve. I get it. Like, go. Like, you can defend it. I respect.
Well, no, I wouldn't because I would have chosen a lot of other things for a slowdown song there. But what I was going to say is that the way the jam, right? The way the jam found its way into it, it was the band was together on it. It's all like they all knew that's where they were going, which is interesting to me that's how it lands. So,
yeah. So I had a thought going from Mercy, right, to Simple. I go, what would 90s Trey, they Benjamin buttoned it, right? They went backward, essentially, from one type of lyrics to another, so different. And I was just like, wow, that's an interesting transition from, and I was like, but okay, cool, right? It's like, what would Trey think of like the current Trey material? And then I didn't care because 5 minutes in, let's get down. And I was happy.
That was the thing. Yes. And that was the thing. And what you were just saying with that is so true because coming out of it, you kind of needed something that kicked in with an intro. So to get the simple intro, you're like, all right. And that kind of gets like everyone that was sitting down, I was like, all right, and smoking joints. You're like, get it, like simple, sweet. Like, let's get back up. And man, when that immediate jam that we got into was just fantastic. And it was almost like for a minute there, it almost sounded like a remix. It almost sounded like someone was on like mixing it because they had that really weird like noise going on. And I was like, is there a detail? Like this almost sounds like Phish remix. Like Giovi's doing something back there with it or something. Like
that's where we were saying, Paige was really filling in a lot of space. In a super groovy way.
And sniffing the hell out of that. And then Mike was like right behind him, plucking away and dropping that. And it flowed so well. And I thought that jam just took off. And then, I mean, who knew we were going where we went with that thing? I mean, of all the teases, of all Kev saying Mountain Jam, they played Mountain Jam, tease Mountain Jam, to go into the Macarena tonight, like of all things, just so funny, so random. So
I love that they went with it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
it was such a dark jam too. Did you end up in the Macarena? I mean, they were in a really. I was like, "This is what I was looking for. This is great." And then I was like, "What is that song?" And it took my brain a little bit to catch up to.
And he was just cracking himself up. Just once the crowd started singing and everything, he just like Trey just loved it. Just loved every second of it. And good for him. Like again, it's really hard to bitch about Mercy and be like, God damn it, like what are you doing? And then you see him up there like having a blast and laughing his ass off, and you're like, just do whatever you want. Like it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Just go have fun and do what you want and play with your friends.
This run from Simple, Ether Edge through Maze, we'll talk about Ether Edge and Maze too, but I think that was my highlight probably of this set, maybe even of the show. I think it was a great pairing of those three songs, three really disparate things that you don't see going great together, kind of like a Reese cup or something.
So I have a question for both of you about Ether Edge. So, the reviews for Hollywood Bowl version, obviously very, very good. I think that one was almost 20 minutes long. It was just under. So this was 9-10 minutes max, maybe. I felt like it was very melodic. I felt like they were, gelling together, and it was great. Did you feel like it was complete? Because there was a moment where I was searching for a word, almost like an internal song ripcord, and that's not what it was. So I don't want to say that that's what it was, but there was a piece somewhere in there toward the end of it that it almost felt like it was getting out of sync from where I would expect that song to go. And I'm wondering if they were going to take it a little bit further, because we know they can. I still think it was great. I don't know if you all were feeling anything the last couple minutes.
I expected it to go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I felt like it was gonna go longer because, like, to your point, the Hollywood Bowl, when you're like, okay, we're gonna get another at least 10-12 minutes out of this thing, because it has that potential and it really has that like drive to it, that sort of like happy, blissful drive to it too. You know what I mean? That kind of pushes it forward. So yeah, I was surprised that it kind of sat in that 8-minute zone. But then knowing that they were going to do Maze right after it with 8 minutes made a lot of sense why they kind of didn't go all out on either edge, because Maze is such a force. Like, you got to bring it with that song, and they always do. So, like, it's, you know,
whenever I hear a second set Maze, my mind goes to the Island tour, and I'm like, one of my favorite runs of songs is the Maze through Cavern that closed that set.
That makes me want to go listen to it again. Justin, I absolutely agree. I feel like amazingly they dropped into that Maze. I don't think Maze is a very easy song to segue into, right? I mean, it's a complicated, very specific type of entry point, and there's a word that I thought was a real word, sagacious. Sagacious is a word, but it was very sagacious. It was kind of cool how they did that segue for a song that's a little bit challenging, but it had some really good moments there. I was happy with that one.
Yeah, we do. It's my favorite album. It's one of those that you can listen to front to back without ever having to shut it down or skip a song. And I love albums like that. And that's one of the few ones that you can do that with. So we should do a deep dive on Rift.
That'd be cool.
Idea. Right. I was going to put 33 years later, but I didn't want to screw people up who were scrolling in the morning or like, what is he talking about?
You better check your DMs
stop
do that.
Yeah.
But real quick too, Kev, just know that last time they did a second set in Maze was in 23. It was actually July of 23. So it kind of exactly 2 years ago, almost to the day that they did it. And other than that, it's usually in the first set, but I miss it in the second set. Like, I always liked it in the second set. It just has that where it should be. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Yes, 20 years later.
20 years later, the first time Phish played the Mann was July 18th, 92, which was 33 years ago, opening for Santana on that tour that they really got put on the map with. I love this song. I guess I was spoiled by the Camden 19 one, where it was like 20-some minutes long, and they totally opened it up and explored it. But cool, you know. It's almost a slow down song, almost not. You know, it's a little like being constipated. You keep waiting for something to happen, and
okay. I mean, because it never really. It could be one of those songs that they kind of like stop singing and then goes, right? And just all of a sudden you find yourself 10 minutes later, you're like, wait, where are we in this song right now? And then they weave back into it and whatever. But yeah. It's true, Kevin. It's kind of one of those where you're like, is it going to go anywhere, or is it just going to be 5-6 minutes and we'll be done with it? And that's what it was tonight.
Right.
So,
we got and then we got the Antelope, which actually closed that show in 92. It's closed the set. So nice little. I assuming Trey knew that. I don't know, because they only played 2 or 3 nights. 4 nights ago, 5 nights ago they played Antelope, and Antelope's usually been every 12 shows, you know.
And it took so long for it to appear this tour. Like it had,
it was 8 shows in before it appeared, or
right.
something,
So then to get it right away again, like was what we talked about before, where you would have expected them to have played it before that. So when the first time, so it's definitely weird timing, but we knew it would. I didn't know it'd come back so fast. I thought it would be a Chicago. So I'll wait for that. So surprised to get it tonight. But I mean, we all know it's Mariano Rivera of closers, the best closer there is, no matter where it is, first set, second set, encore, whatever, it does its job. And to get a Fluffhead, an Antelope, and a Yem in first set, second set, and the encore, pretty fucking rad.
I love a Encore.
Antelope remains the most played first set closer and the most played second set closer.
That's why getting it in the middle of that second set of the bowl was so crazy and unique and like mind-blowingly awesome again. You're like, oh man, it's like it used to be. Sick.
Is something wrong? Are we done?
You're like, are we ripcording this entire?
Go home. Yeah, get out of here.
The Yem is, I guess they were like, screw it, we're just going to pay for an extra 10 minutes tonight.
Yeah, and you know what? When they came out and they just went for it. I mean, it was just drop right in. Totally loved it. I was like, oh, okay, let's do this. And I love, honestly, that that's what it was. That was the encore. It was just encapsulated.
Well, and I love the fact that they didn't do the vocal jam to the end, right? Like, because I was like, you can't end this with the vocal jam, and they don't have time to vocal jam into another song, so it has to kind of be this song to end it. So I'm glad it was still too long for me, but I'm glad that they cut it back and got back into the song and did that like little extended jam to end it.
Trey did have some issue with his guitar, Jason.
Yeah, it did.
Trey also gave us a little Miles Davis tease. Some Miles Davis song. I don't know which one it was off the top of my head. And I didn't write it down. And then Paige countered with the theme to Speed Racer.
Nice. Jazz Phish, Kev, more Jazz Phish.
Yeah.
It keeps popping up in there. So
we love it. We love it. We love it. So, I mean, yeah, and you're right. They did the second jam to close it out. Trey was banging away at the end. I think he was very much celebrating the accomplishment of still playing the man 33 years later.
Yeah.
And let's be real. I mean, to be able to play an entire show, and I've said this before too, but I think it deserves to be said for an encore like this, and then come back out and play a song like that, a composition that has that many components to it, and not only crush it, but have such a good time. I love bringing a little bit of the rhythm section, like some bass, into the vocal jam, which I know probably doesn't make it a vocal jam anymore. But I love when they can introduce, like you were saying, put that back in. It just gives it this really awesome vibe. I totally dig it. So I love when they do that.
And I think it's interesting tonight too that we got two 90s songs in there with the Macarena and then the Fine Young Cannibals, She Drives Me Crazy, and when he was like taking the mic, like he drives me crazy during his bass solo. It was so funny. So like I don't know what was going on, but like it was very 90s themed with some of that tonight.
Maybe
so
they found an old mixtape or something
right? Or just throwing it back to when they first played there, I guess too, right? Like kind of thing. So that's funny.
maybe both of those songs were popular.
Right, that's what I was thinking, right? Like something to do with 92 or whatever, and that or 90 whatever.
That Fine Young Cannibals song and the video was a little weird, but the song was pretty cool. Weren't they just singing in the video? I think it was one of those and they were in a red background or something. There we go. There's the train off the tracks.
Well, hey, that's what you need. We should have had the Back in My Day music going, but don't go there because it screws up everything, as we learned the other night. And my shit
we have to switch studios to do that. God, that was a train wreck. I'll have to practice that for the future. Either that or we have to upload it. We have to get the track from Tim and upload it into the other studio.
Yes, exactly.
So we're doing. All right, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching this later, leave us a comment. Let us know what you were thinking. And Amanda will probably be hanging out, coming back.
Cool.
Come back, definitely. Yes, if you want to, please. It'll give me a night off, and you can fill in and hang out. Or if you want to fill in for Kev, I'd love to have you as a co-host. You'd actually probably show up, Kev. No, just kidding.
Hey, put me in, coaches. You know where to find me.
Anytime. We love having you. Thank you so much. You bring a lot to the show. That was awesome. Thank you.